Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Facebook Live. I'm Jesse Meckling, the Director of Education at the Center for Coastal Studies in Provincetown. Hope you're having a great day. So, thank you for joining me. This is the encore week of Cool Marine Animals I've Seen. It's Friday. Um, in so much as this week has a theme, it is animals that are all considered to be endangered by the IUCN. And today we're going to be talking about a species of sea turtle. I believe it's the latest sea turtle species I've seen. Um, it's a sea turtle that is not found in Massachusetts, although I believe there was one sighting many years ago, I believe in the 70s, because it is the most tropical of all sea turtle species. I saw these sea turtles while diving in the Gili Islands in Indonesia, which is a great place for someone who likes turtles because there's lots of turtles in those islands. I had a particularly close counter with one of them, swimming, circling me about less than a meter away. It was pretty cool. So, of these World 7 species of sea turtles, this is considered one of the most endangered, um, partly because its shell was coveted to be made into jewelry and other such things. And I'm talking about the Hawksbill Turtle. So, let's get started with our presentation. So hawksbill turtles are the most tropical of turtle species. They are prized for their tortoise shell, which typically referred to as tortoise shell. Amazingly, they are biofluorescent, which I'll talk about a little bit later. The first reptile to known to be biofluorescent, and they are listed as critically endangered by the International Union of IUCN. Hawksbill turtles have a wide range, found predominantly in tropical reefs of the Indian, Pacific, and Atlantic Oceans. You can see here their range and their breeding sites. Hawksbill turtles can be found in coastal waters of more than 108 countries. Of all the sea turtle species, they are the one most associated with warm tropical waters. There are two major subpopulations, one in the Atlantic and one in the Indo-Pacific. And hawksbill prefer frequent rocky areas, coral reefs. Much of their food is found on coral reefs, as we'll talk about, shallow coastal areas, lagoons, or oceanic islands. They're seldom seen in water deeper than 65 feet, so different than some of the other turtle species we've discussed, like the leatherback in particular. And unlike other sea turtle species, which may cross entire ocean basins several times, hawksbill turtles may have home reefs, so they might actually stay very close and even favorite hiding places on reefs where they'll spend much of their adult lives. Although recent research and tagging into hawksbill has found that they do travel over longer distances, but not as much as, say, a leatherback turtle or other species of turtles. Hawksbills are named for their pointed beaks, which resemble those of birds. As you can see here, it's very distinct, the beak of a hawksbill. Adult hawksbill sea turtles typically grow to around 1 meter or 39 inches in length and weigh roughly 80 kilograms or 180 pounds. The heaviest hawksbill ever captured weighed 127 kilos or 280 pounds. Hawksbill, with these beaks, they're omnivorous. They're primarily carnivores. Sea sponges are their principal food, which constitute between 70 and 95% of the turtle's diet. They use their narrow beaks to get into crevices and cracks on the reef and hunt for these sponges. Aside from sponges, hawksbills will eat algae, jellies, comb jellies, sea anemones, and hydrozoa, like Portuguese man of war. They can actually protect themselves. They close their eyes when eating Portuguese man of war, and the stinging cells can't penetrate the turtle's hard armored heads. Hawksbills are important for keeping coral reefs healthy, as they by feeding on these sponges, which could potentially outcompete corals. So they're very important for healthy coral reef ecosystems. Interestingly, due to the consumption of some venomous types of jellies, hawksbill sea turtles can actually become toxic, although they are eaten, as we'll talk about. And one of very cool sort of new discovery of these turtles is that in 2000, just recently, I believe it was 2015, some divers in the Solomon Islands came across a turtle, a hawksbill turtle, that was biofluorescing. This is not the same as bioluminescence. Bioluminescence is where animals make their own light. Biofluorescence is where an organism absorbs low light and then emits high wavelength light that makes it glow. So at the night, it seemed like this turtle was glowing. It's not known what causes this. Some scientists suspect that it might be algae living on the turtle shells, but more research is known. But right now, it is the only known reptile in the world to biofluoresce. So a very cool cool characteristic of this turtle. As we've learned many cool things throughout the series, I'm learning a whole bunch about all these cool marine animals that I've seen. So like many other species of sea turtles, hawksbills spend most of their time in the water, with females only coming on the shore to lay eggs. Although we learn with green turtles that sometimes green turtles also come on land. It's thought that hawksbills reach sexual maturity around 20 years of age. But I've read other reports that in some regions, like the Indo-Pacific, they may not reach maturity at a minimum of 30 to 35 years of age. So these mature very late. It's not known how long they live, although I saw estimates between 30 to 50 years. But if they're maturing at age 30, my guess is that they're going to live much longer than that 50-year period. But again, this is not known. As with other turtles, they will come and nest on beaches. They return to the same beach, females where they hatched, even if that beach is pretty far from their foraging grounds. And they will actually nest throughout their range. So they'll nest in different locations. Other species of sea turtles often return to a relatively small number of nesting areas, but these sea turtles will go to spots with only a few other turtles. So meaning some sea turtles nest in huge numbers, whereas hawksbills will nest in small numbers on particular beaches. They appear to nest every 2 to 3 years and lay between 60 and 200 eggs at a time. They often nest close to the coral reefs. And one of the interesting things about these turtles is that the females are able to climb over reefs and rocks to nest in beach vegetation. So they actually normally nest higher up on the beach than other sea turtle species. While the population is not known, I saw estimates of between 8,000 and 23,000 nesting females worldwide, which is quite a large range. This makes them one of the most endangered sea turtle species in the world. Natural predators of these animals include large fish, sharks, crocodiles, octopuses, and of course humans, which brings us to the reason why they are particularly endangered. Certainly one of the greatest threats to these animals is that they are harvested for their prized shell, which is often referred to as tortoise shell, which I mentioned. Though the trade is illegal, it became illegal in 1993. That trade still continues. And recently, a couple of reports I found looked at the trade of these animals over time. And a recent study came out looking at trade of or captured hawksbill turtle and the trade in the shells over a period from the mid 1800s to 1992, just before it became illegal. And previous estimates put the number of hawksbill killed at that time around just over 1 million. But this new research looked at different sources and came up with an estimate between 4.5 and 9.8 million hawksbills, excuse me, were killed for their shells during this time, representing a 80% decline in the population. So a main reason that these animals are still are endangered and critically endangered is from the massive collection and extraction that took place over the past 100 to 130 years. They still face other threats. They're actually hawksbill eggs are still eaten around the world despite being protected. They're also still, the turtles themselves are still eaten. They're occasionally caught in as bycatch in fishing nets, as with most turtle species. But the biggest threat to them comes from this trade in their shell, which is used to make ornaments or jewelry and other decorative items. And I've been in many countries where they have shells on display, telling people not to take them. And certainly, if you ever travel to tropical countries, you should not purchase any materials made of turtle shell. Another serious threat is habitat loss, since these are mostly tropical species and live along coral reefs. Coral reefs are being damaged from ocean acidification and rising seawater temperatures, which could affect these turtles as well, since they are mostly tropical and most of their habitat is found around coral reefs. So that's all for today. I want to thank you for joining me for another cool marine animal. And I hope you can join me next week. So next week, I'm going to change up the series a bit. Next week's series will be cool marine animals that I want to see. So some pretty cool stuff out there. I've been fortunate. I've seen lots and lots of things. But next week, we'll change it up and talk about things that I haven't yet seen that I'm hoping to. So with that, please stay safe, stay healthy. Have a great weekend. Thanks for joining me, and hope you can join me next week for another Facebook Live series. Thanks. Bye-bye.